Hello and welcome back to my channel Wild at Heart. I am Carla, and if you're just joining us then welcome, and if you'd like to subscribe it's just below my finger here. And this video I've been asked to do several times by several different people from the bookish community, and also from my friends, some of my friends, and yeah, so I've said okay, I will do it for you. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about dyslexia and how I coped with not being able to read. It's hard going because obviously it's going from when I was really young. I remember my first memory was having my head smashed into a glass window if I couldn't read a word. And that really, basically I just had no confidence in myself then. I just didn't think I would make anything of my life. I generally didn't. It lives with you and it doesn't go away. And so I really struggled for a long time, and I think my mental health probably for a long time struggled without realising it. And I probably would say there was a lot of a front on all the time, and I didn't like that in myself. It's not nice, to be honest. And then if we fast forward going back to 2014, so I ain't going that far forward, but yeah, 2014, I obviously suffered with post-traumatic stress and having seizures, which obviously knocked everything out that wasn't working in my brain then. Which then kind of led me to not being able to cook a meal. I wasn't able to walk sometimes. Sometimes couldn't talk. I still get that now and again from when I have a seizure. Luckily, I haven't suffered any more memory loss, but obviously I do get slurred speech and sometimes the understanding, or I want to get my words out really quickly, but my brain's like, no, hold on, you can't do that. So yeah, it's you know, it's hard. I think I'm not just talking about it now for myself, it's more for people out there, for our young generations which suffer with learning difficulties, with any learning difficulty, with obviously dyslexia, and obviously it does affect your mental health in the end. It can really harm your mental health. And it wasn't just that it affected me. There was many things which had happened, and it all led, and it was like a massive bomb going off in my brain, and it was not nice. Not being able to read was awful because obviously I never enjoyed books at all before. I was like, oh, I don't want to read a book, it's just black and white and I can't read it. And obviously then going back to when I suffered with my seizures, it was difficult because I needed to learn to read, because I couldn't really read like things that I had to do with like flowers, working in florist. You have to be able to learn to do these things. And then not being able to read letters, that was from my son's school, and I thought, Carla, you need to really sort this out. And I really did take it upon myself, and I spoke to a lot of professionals which were psychiatric nurses and psychologists, and I said, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is just my dyslexia that's causing this, or if it was the seizures as well. And they said, no, it's both. And I was like, great. So just what I needed. I learnt to read with two books, which were this size books, as you've probably seen in my first video. They're quite thick books. It wasn't like going to read a children's book. I went straight in whole hog because obviously a friend recommended to me that I tried them, maybe it would help. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely bloody hated it. I could not. There was times that I couldn't read a word. The word it, or was, or something like that. It just was so difficult for me. And yeah, the books got thrown against the wall, and I was like, why am I doing this? What's the point? And then one day it just clicked into place. The more I read the book, the more I I got into it and I could read the words, and it was like something in my brain just went click, and it just happened. I don't know what it was, it just happened, but it took a year for it to happen. I never talked about it with anybody, and people say, oh, that's really silly not to talk about it. For me, it wasn't, because I already felt alienated because of my mental health and that. Not by the people that were helping me, because I had a lot of people, friends and family, which really supported me and was always encouraging me to do my best, to know I can be amazing. All the fact is, I am amazing. I really want to get this out there for our generations to come, for our youngsters now, to be able to say, okay, well, this is the problem that I'm dealing with, but I'm as capable as the person that is a mad scientist, or the nurse that is working on somebody over there, or that doctor over there that can do all of this amazing stuff for people. Because we are, in our unique ways, we are all capable of something amazing. And I think that is something that is always forgotten, because our lives are ruled by social media sometimes. I mean, this is it, you know, but it's part of our lives now, and it's learning how to work with it. We've kind of stopped learning how to work with each other, but beyond the screens, and that is so sad. Like, I don't want that in this world. We need to be able to learn to communicate, to spend time with each other, to be able to support each other, and not actually work against each other. Because I do find people are always trying to better someone else, and I'm not interested in that. It's actually got no effect on my life whatsoever, because obviously I suffered bullying, not just back then, but obviously when I suffered with the post-traumatic stress and my seizures and not having any memory to be able to focus on things, because I was alienated massively. I mean, I was spat at, I was called a freak. I had it all, and I don't want to see the future generations having to suffer like that, because we're not that kind of thing. You know, we are all people at the end of the day, trying to learn to live on this planet together. That is what I want out of life. So if I have to campaign about it, I will, because I don't care. But it is tough going, and I feel for children of these days that are suffering of anything with disabilities, with their mental health, and it's rising. The counts are rising, and that bothers me tremendously. It really does. And I really think that things need to change. I found a world which I love, and I now love reading. And I'm proud of myself that I taught myself to read. I really am, because I never thought it was, I always thought it was impossible to be able to do something like that. Now I'm reviewing books. It was authors that came to me and said, Carla, I love how passionately you talk about it. And they're the ones that push me to do this. When you've got authors turning around and saying that to you, I think that's pretty incredible. So, pat on the head for me. I think that if we can all learn to work together and help the generations that are coming into this world to learn to be happy with who they are, and if they're struggling, then we shouldn't be ashamed of it. We should be helping. We need to be doing that. So yeah, there we are, and there we go. I didn't really want to go too much in depth with it, because it can be like really complicated. It is really complicated. But I would like to just say a massive thank you to my bookish friends that I have now, because they are a massive support to me, and they're really helping me on this journey. But I would also like to thank my friends and my family for standing by me through one of the hardest times that I've probably, I don't know, I don't want to say ever lived through, because you just don't ever know what's going to happen, but what I have lived through. And I thank you, And I love you for that. And I'm always so grateful. But we all have to remember as well, we all have to be our own hero. And that is my message across to everybody. To love each other, to support each other, and be your own hero. There we are. I'm going to go now before I absolutely start blubbering on this video. I don't want to do that. Anyway, thank you for listening. I'm sorry for boring you with 2 videos today, but I really hope you enjoyed them, and I'll see you all very, very soon, and take care of yourself and each other, and